communist Chinese compromise of the entire U.S. database. It can take down the entire U.S. phone system with their coordinated database in 1 second flat. But the Russians are going to get us. The Russians, I mean, if the Russians were involved in our business, I would be all over it. But they're not. Communist China is in the news because they manipulate and control many of the data chips and many of the phone switching computers through Swedish, Dutch, German, and other front companies here in the United States. 90% of espionage in the U.S. is Chinese. That's well known. That's admitted. I have mainstream news articles getting into it. The reason I raised that issue is Communist China is threatening all sorts of military action against the U.S., trade war, you name it, when they're the ones that have been in a trade war with us for at least 50 years. And how does Trump, how does the EU, how does the UK respond? With sanctions and expelling Russian diplomats and just saying you're guilty of nerve gassing two former Russians living in England with no proof. And then a whole new Cold War is launched on the back of that. And Russia's like, it's preposterous. We don't care about some old GRU colonel. So I have stacks of news here dealing with that. China flies bombers and fighter jets near Taiwan as military tensions ramp up. Reuters. Trump to expel 60 Russian diplomats from U.S. Russia vows imminent response. The U.S. only understands force, close quote. Against common sense and intel law, Russia to retaliate over diplomats, expulsion by UK allies. 14 EU states announced mass coordinated expulsion of Russian diplomats over the case. So, meanwhile, China willing to hold talks with the U.S. and resolve trade differences. And then I have my really big article here. Overhaul of U.S. telecom database sparks fear of catastrophic failure. And the article out of Free Beacon doesn't get to it later. Communist Chinese compromise of the entire U.S. database. It can take down the entire U.S. phone system with their coordinated database in 1 second flat. But the Russians are going to get us. The Russians, I mean, if the Russians were involved in our business, I would be all over it. But they're not. And that's why Russia's got some high-tech weapons, but they're a big, big country, biggest in the world geographically, and they're having real trouble. They're heavily infiltrated like we are, and they're tottering on the edge of going under globalist control. And so that's why the globalists are so excited. They're so close to just destroying the U.S., finally getting us on our knees to have their way with us. They're so close to getting Russia back under their control, and the raping and murder of Christians and just the mass slaughter makes the left drool with pleasure. You have to understand that they have a rapist energy, just a satanic child molester energy, and they want to get a hold of Christian countries. People say, well, why? It didn't make sense. I know, but study communist, study socialist, study globalist. They hate you and your family. They hate God. They hate justice. That's what this is.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white male! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
InfoWars comes to mind.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
There's a lot of controversy around this network about Alex Jones.
Google is being accused of hiding negative stories about Hillary and her campaign by changing its algorithm to bury stories like the Clinton body count story. That's according to website InfoWars.
It sounds like it's confirmed there are at least 2 shooters with fully automatic weapons.
Dr. Martin Luther King has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
JFK was shot from the back and the front.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
They took the babies out of incubators and left the children to die on the cold floor.
I think this is a national security imperative. We have clear things that we do not understand how they work, operating in areas that we can't control.
UFOs.
Is this global governance at last? Is it one world? The central bankers in charge.
Israel claims the attack was accidental, but some former U.S. naval officers say it was on purpose. They describe the day's action as part of a continuing cover-up.
Russian intelligence compiled a dossier on Mr. Trump during visits to Moscow.
Russian scum!
Denied everything. He called it all fake news.
And he accused CNN of being fake news.
This is a national emergency.
If they kill Trump or remove Trump, it will cause a massive civil war in this country.
This is a FEMA high-level alert.
We are at war with Russia.
Are you aware that Mr. Stone also stated publicly that he was in direct communication with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks?
The White House and the president are citing InfoWars.
They could shut us down. You're next.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
Nourish a probiotic-friendly environment in your gut with prebiotic fiber by InfoWars Life. Help the good bacteria thrive and support overall digestive health with our specially formulated prebiotic fiber, a mixture of clinically studied and organic acacia, fruit, and flax fiber. Prebiotic fiber is soluble fiber that ferments in the gut to help feed good bacteria, which helps you digest food, absorb nutrients, and even supports your immune system. InfoWars Life's cutting-edge formula only brings you the highest quality, organic, and clinically studied ingredients. Cheap prebiotic fibers are used up only at the beginning of the colon, but our premium organic acacia fiber is slowly digested by the good bacteria throughout the entire colon for maximum prebiotic effect. Head to InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139.